God's chosen ones, you play, you pay. Watch as a group falls one by one. The real show starts. God's chosen one. Pause for a moment. Don't scroll away. Tonight, heaven has opened the ancient books. The names of those who once rose against you are being read aloud one by one. That bell you heard, it wasn't by chance. It was a sign heaven's justice has begun to move. The same hands that once dug a pit for you now tremble because the ground beneath them has started to give way. Heaven just opened the books on your enemies. And what's about to happen cannot be stopped. This isn't just a video, it's a message sent directly to you, the chosen one. Tonight, something is stirring in the deepest parts of the world. A circle of people sits together in the dark. Shadows flicker with the candlelight. They laugh, they whisper, they think they've won. Each word they speak cuts like a knife. Each smile hides another wound in the dark. They believe you've been forgotten, that their lies will be believed, that they can bend the light to their will. They think they're the directors of this story, but they don't know there's another audience still watching. Heaven was watching. From above in the stillness of the sky, heaven sees it all. No word they speak, no thought they hide, is left unseen. The ancient books are open. Every plot, every lie, every moment you were betrayed is written there line by line in light. They thought they were writing your ending, but in truth they were writing the opening act of God's justice. And tonight, the curtain has been lifted. Light breaks through the clouds, shining down on the stage of this world, where false roles now tremble before exposure. Chosen one. As you hear these words, your heart may beat just a little faster, because your spirit recognizes this isn't coincidence. This is confirmation. You have been chosen. You once cried in the night alone, silent, asking, "Why must I go through all this?" But God was silent, not because he forgot you, but because he was arranging everything. He does not rush. He waits until the darkness grows bold enough to think it has won. And then he turns on the light of justice. Tonight, the curtain has opened. This stage no longer belongs to them. Those who once threw stones at you, who whispered against you, will now step into the light and face who they truly are. And you, chosen one, you don't have to do anything. Just stand still, because heaven is writing the next chapter of your story, a chapter the darkness never saw coming. Chosen one, take a deep breath. Feel it, the curtain has lifted and the light is reaching for you. The pain that once broke you is about to become proof of your victory. They thought they were the directors, but the truth is they were only actors in a story God had written from the very beginning. The curtain just rose, and heaven is ready to begin. Part 1. The Spiritual Law. What's done in the dark? There is a divine law, older than time itself, stronger than every kingdom that has ever stood. A law that no one can escape, the law of light and darkness. Everything sown in the shadows will sooner or later bloom beneath the sunlight. No plan, no lie can ever hide from the eyes of heaven. Psalm 139 says, "Even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you." Chosen one. While they whispered their plots, believing no one could hear, heaven leaned in to listen, and every word they spoke was recorded in the book of justice. Every pause, every breath. While they plotted in darkness, heaven recorded every whisper. This is not punishment. It is a spiritual law, a rhythm that never misses a single beat, etched into the very fabric of the universe. Look back through the scriptures, every story bears witness to this law. Joseph was thrown into a pit by his own brothers. They thought they had buried his dream, but that very pit became the doorway to his throne in Egypt. Haman built the gallows for Mordecai, but in the end he was the one hung upon it. Judas sold the Lord for 30 pieces of silver, believing he had won, but those same coins became the chains around his neck. 3 stories. One ending: those who dig the pit will fall into it. Chosen one. They thought the darkness would protect them, that their sins could remain hidden forever in the night. But the light of heaven never goes out. He sees, he hears, he counts every tear you've cried. You don't need revenge. You don't need to prove yourself. Justice has already been set in motion, and it moves on its own. All you need to do is stand still, because there is an unseen hand arranging everything for you. What was once sown in darkness is now breaking through the surface, and the light of God will shine into every corner until nothing remains hidden. It's not by accident that you're hearing this. It's not by chance that your heart trembles right now, because the spiritual law is being activated in your life. And when the light of God begins to shine, every lie, every scheme, every wound you've endured will become living proof of heaven's power. What's done in the dark will always come to light, not sometimes, not by coincidence, but always. And when that light arrives, you will understand you were never abandoned. You were being prepared. Part 2, reality check. When illusion cracks, a thin veil of smoke drifts upward. The light flickers, dancing across a wall of mirrors. Everything looks perfect, a flawless stage where the masked ones once played the lead. They laugh. They pretend to be kind. They use gentle words to hide the blades behind their backs. In the dark, they're confident that no one can see. But then, something small happens. A crack as thin as a strand of hair begins to run across the mirror. A strange light slips in, cutting through the surface, shining straight onto their painted faces. And when that light touches them, the illusion begins to fall apart. Shattered pieces of glass fall to the ground, reflecting the faces they never wanted to see. The smoke clears. The room grows still. The audience who once applauded stands frozen, looking at one another, realizing this magic was never real. The masks are falling one by one. Those smooth, proud masks that once made you doubt yourself are now scattered on the floor, broken. No one had to expose them, the light did it. Those who once built lies about you, who laughed when you stayed silent, who looked down on you with contempt, are now tangled in the very web they spun. They struggle to hold on to their perfect image, but their hands are trembling. And the audience, those who once believed in them, are starting to see the truth. A man steps onto the stage thinking he's still the main character, but the light shifts. It no longer shines on him. It moves instead to his hands, stained with the marks of deceit and betrayal. The entire room falls silent. Then someone in the front row whispers, "It was all fake." The whisper spreads a wave of truth, sweeping through the crowd, washing away every illusion. Chosen one, this is the moment heaven promised you. You don't have to speak. You don't have to prove anything. The truth is standing on its own. The light is doing what you could never do by your own strength. You were accused of words you never said, called weak, misunderstood, mocked. You chose silence not out of fear, but because deep down you knew God was rewriting the story, and now it's unfolding exactly as it should. The lies are turning back like arrows bent by the wind, returning to the hands that released them. Those who mocked you now lower their heads. The mouths that once laughed now tremble when your name is spoken. Not because you sought revenge, but because truth always returns to its rightful place. The magician is left with no smoke, no mirrors, only himself, bare, exhausted, seen for what he truly is. The applause is gone. Only silence remains, a silence heavy enough to crush pride. And you, the one who once sat in the dark, accused, voiceless, now you simply watch. Not bitter, not triumphant, just peaceful, because in the end, truth needs no defense. It may come late, but when it comes, it tears down every lie like a castle of sand under rain. You don't have to fight. You just have to stand. That is the strength of the chosen one. Not because you are perfect, but because you are honest. Not because you won the argument, but because you never let your soul sink into the mud. Those who wronged you are growing weary, tired under the weight of their own deeds. One loses a job, another is betrayed by their own allies. Someone else begins to live in fear, afraid of being exposed, afraid of the light. This is not coincidence. It is the harvest of the seeds they sowed. Meanwhile, you begin to feel lighter, not because they've fallen, but because the burden has been lifted from you. It's as if someone opened a door and your soul stepped out of a narrow, suffocating room. Light pours in, gentle, warm, and you might be surprised to realize you're not angry anymore. Because you know heaven has handled it all with perfect fairness. No judgment needed, only light. Chosen one, remember this. Every illusion has an expiration date, but the truth, no matter how deeply buried, will always find its way back to the surface. And when it does, it doesn't come to destroy, but to set free. Not just you, but the world around you. Those who were once enchanted by lies are now waking up. They look at you differently now, no longer the weak one, but the one who stood firm through the storm. No longer the victim, but the witness of truth. What you endured is becoming their lesson. And you, the chosen one, are being lifted higher, not by fame, but by peace. Look again and you'll see everything is as it should be. Those who laughed yesterday are silent today. Those who despised you now avert their eyes, not out of fear of you, but because the truth in you is too bright to face. And you, through it all, simply smile. There's nothing left to say, because what you hoped for most has come to pass. The truth has stood up on its own. When the mirror shatters, illusion dies. When the smoke fades, only light remains. And in that light, you finally see you never lost. You were only waiting for this moment when all would be revealed and divine justice would stand on your side. The masks are falling one by one. The illusion is over. The truth, finally, has come home. Part 3, Betrayal Meets Backlash, The Bleeding Hands. There's a sound, soft, fragile, almost too quiet to hear. The sound of something made of glass falling, hitting stone, and shattering. It wasn't just a vase, it was your heart. You handed it to them with trust, with love, with rare honesty. You believed they would cherish it, that they would understand the value of what you gave. But instead, they threw it away. Not because you did something wrong, but simply because they could. They laughed in the dark, thinking that crack would destroy you. But what they didn't know was this: the shards cut the betrayer too. Strange, isn't it? Betrayal never comes from a stranger. It comes from someone you once trusted, someone you once protected, someone who once said, "I'll never leave you." And it was their hands, the very ones you once held, that hurt you the most. But what they didn't know was that God was watching. He saw how you stayed silent instead of striking back. He saw you kneel, trembling, praying through tears. He saw your heart break, but not turn to stone. And he began to gather every piece. You handed them your heart, and they smashed it. But God kept every piece. He didn't lose a single fragment. He picked up each broken shard with mercy in his hands. And while they laughed in triumph, he began to mend your heart piece by piece with light. Meanwhile, the betrayers are learning their own lesson. No one can destroy true love and walk away unscathed. No one can shed innocent blood without finding stains on their own hands. The bleeding hands that is the cost of betrayal. They try to wash them clean, they try to forget, but the stains remain. They linger in their conscience, in their dreams, in the silence of their nights. Their laughter fades, replaced by a heavy stillness, sleepless nights, moments when they look in the mirror and no longer recognize the face staring back. Because that is the real punishment, not being exposed, but having to face oneself. Guilt doesn't come from the outside. It lives within them, a quiet fire that burns away their peace day by day. And you are healing. Not quickly, not easily, But with every sunrise, the light within you grows a little stronger. Yesterday's tears become proof that you still know how to love. The cracks in your heart have become windows for light to enter. You begin to understand betrayal didn't come to destroy you. It came to purify you. It showed you who was real and who was not. It taught you that love doesn't mean giving everything away. It means keeping a part of yourself for God. One day you'll look back and realize that the very wound they caused pushed you out of a place you never belonged. That stab in the back was what moved you closer to heaven than ever before, because God never lets your pain go to waste. He turns betrayal into wisdom. He turns tears into seeds. He turns wounds into sacred marks. And those who betrayed you, He leaves them to live with the consequences of their own choices. No need for punishment because their conscience is the fairest judge of all. Each night when the lights go out, they still hear the sound of that shattering, and they know deep down it wasn't the sound of victory, but of loss. Chosen one, don't let your heart turn to stone. Forgiveness isn't forgetting, it's setting your soul free. Not to let them escape, but so that you can live again. Because God has gathered every piece of your heart, and He's building something new, stronger, brighter, unbreakable. Betrayal is no longer the end, it's the beginning of healing. And sometimes God allows someone to break your heart just to show you that He's the only one who can truly mend it. So be still, don't explain, don't fight back, don't let your pain become hate. Because when you let go, God takes over. He will return to you far more than what was taken, not in things, but in peace. And when you smile again, you'll realize your forgiveness is living proof of heaven's victory. The shards cut the betrayer too. But God, He used those shards to build something new inside of you. Now look again. What once made you bleed is now only a scar. The tears you cried have long since dried, but they left behind light like pearls formed from pain. And in that quiet moment, you understand betrayal didn't kill you. It made you a witness that a heart once broken can beat again stronger, brighter, and closer to God than ever before. Part 4, the snake pit collapses. When darkness devours itself beneath the surface of the earth, where the shadows grow thickest, there lies a pit. A deep, dark pit where wicked souls once gathered. They believed that by holding hands they would become stronger. They shared the same goal, the same language of envy, and the same whispered vow, take that one down. For a while they thought it was working. Their lies spread like smoke wrapping around you. Their laughter echoed, their mockery grew bold, and their sneering eyes seemed to shine with victory. But they never knew one truth. Hatred never holds anyone together forever. Hatred was their glue, but love was your shield. As the pressure of truth began to rise, that glue began to dissolve. In the darkness where their alliance once stood, now came hissing anger, suspicion, betrayal. One begins to doubt another. Someone whispers, who told them that another glances around in fear like a snake searching for a place to hide as fire licks at its tail. Then, the pit begins to move. The serpents turn on each other, biting, thrashing, writhing. The hiss of scales, the clash of teeth, the wind moaning like grief. What once was an alliance has become a slaughter. Chosen one, watch quietly. You don't have to do a thing, because darkness is devouring itself. Those who once sat at the same table plotting your downfall can no longer look each other in the eye. Suspicion spreads like poison, seeping into every word, every glance. They test one another, question each other, building walls within their so-called unity. They thought they were bonded, but they were only fragments held together by lies. As the light begins to shine down, those false bonds crack. The secrets they once shared become burdens. Each begins to fear that the other will expose what they've tried to hide. Fear that the light will reach them first. And out of fear, they turn against each other. One exposes another's sin. One betrays a friend to save themselves. Their fortress becomes their battlefield. Darkness cannot love. Darkness only consumes, drains, and destroys. When the serpents joined to strike at the light, they forgot their nature venomous, deadly, and venom cannot live long surrounded by its own kind. Now the price has come due, not with thunder, not with fire, but with the heavy silence of fear. Each one falls into the very pit they dug. Each lie becomes a chain that binds its maker. Each mocking smile turns to gasping breath as they realize God didn't need your revenge. He was already bringing justice quietly, perfectly. Proverbs 16:18 says, "Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." And now, it's happening right before your eyes. No noise, no warning, only signs, broken relationships, exposed secrets, restless nights. They trust no one, not even themselves. That is the punishment of darkness, to be consumed by itself. Chosen one, do you see it? What once brought you pain is now proof of heaven's power. No one can stand firm when their foundation is built on hatred, a house built on sand, a friendship built on envy, an alliance built on deceit. All crumble when the wind begins to blow, and the wind is blowing. You don't need to rise and fight. Justice is already at work. They are falling one by one, not by your hand, but by the very energy they released. What they sowed is returning a storm that asks no permission, a harvest that cannot be escaped. Now there is no laughter. Conversations that once buzzed with pride are now tense and fractured. Groups once united now accuse, hide, and scatter. And in the middle of it all, you, the one they targeted, stand still silently watching it all fade away. Not with bitterness, but with gratitude, because you know God has fought for you. He doesn't need noise, he only needs time. And when the time is right, darkness collapses under the weight of itself. A strange peace fills your soul, not because they lost, but because you are free. Free from fear, from anger, from the memories of betrayal. Free completely. Darkness has devoured itself, and the light still stands unmoved, needing no proof. Remember this, chosen one. Hatred cannot survive without something to cling to. It feeds on fear, but you've released yours. It thrives on conflict, but you've chosen silence, and that silence is what killed it. Hatred was their glue, but love was your shield. You have been covered by the holy love of God, and that is why no arrow ever reached you. Now as the pit collapses, as the final hiss fades into the wind, you only need to close your eyes and whisper, "I don't need to see their fall to know that God is just." Because justice doesn't need to be loud, it only needs to be real. And tonight, in the stillness of the universe, you are witnessing a sacred judgment unfold not with hammers, not with swords, but with light, the one thing darkness will never understand. The snake pit has collapsed. Darkness has devoured itself. And you, chosen one, are finally free. Part 5. Karma is a mirror, the reflection they can't escape. There is a room no one wants to enter, a room with no doors, no shadows to hide in, only mirrors, endless mirrors reflecting everything, even the things they tried to forget. There's no laughter there, no music, only the sound of heavy breathing souls running from their own reflections. You can smash every mirror, but you can't escape what's inside. They try to break every mirror. Glass shatters like screams of pain, but when they turn away, the reflection remains shining back from 1,000 angles, clearer, truer, crueler. Each of them, those who once stood side by side, are now separated in their own room. No one left to blame, nowhere left to hide. Every gaze in the mirror becomes a sentence passed. They see the same eyes they once mocked. They hear their own laughter echoing the laughter that once followed your name, now warped, hollow, haunting, like the cries of souls trapped in an endless glass box. This is a punishment no one can escape, not fire, not torment, but truth reflected until the soul shatters. Chosen one, this is divine justice, just as God promised. Not by violence, but by reflection. Not through revenge, but through the light that never lies. In that room, they no longer see you, the one they tried to destroy. They see only themselves. Every lie they told, every scheme, every jealous glance, all replaying before them like a slow, unending film they can't turn off. One sees themselves laughing while you cried. Another watches as they made up stories to ruin your name. Someone else sees the moment they turned away, when you reached out to help them one last time. They look away, but they can't. Because the mirror doesn't just show the face, it shows the soul. That is the law of the universe. Karma forgets, no one makes no mistakes and owes no debt. What they sowed has ripened, and their harvest is not flowers, but thorns. Now they feel what you once felt, the sting of betrayal, the ache of loneliness when no one believes. They want to apologize, but no one is left to hear. They want to go back, but the door has already closed. For in the room of karma, there is no way out, only truth and conscience. Chosen one, remember this: God never needs you to get even. He only needs you to stay in peace, because when you forgive, He uses your silence to teach them their lesson. Now they are learning what you have always known. No one can harm who God protects without wounding themselves. One lies awake at night, another loses faith, another trembles at the sound of your name. Not because you cursed them, but because heaven's truth echoes within them. You can smash every mirror, but you can't escape what's inside. That's the sound they hear every night in broken sleep, in haunted dreams. The light they mocked now pierces through their hearts, and there's nowhere left to hide. Meanwhile, you, once the victim, now stand outside that room, bathed in the soft light of dawn. Your heart is no longer broken, only still and at peace. You do not hate, you do not judge. You only see the lesson, and you smile, because you've learned karma doesn't come to punish, it comes to complete. It comes to remind lost souls that every action echoes, every word carries weight, and every lie will someday reveal itself in light. Chosen one, you don't need to look back. You don't need to ask why. You don't need to regret. Just keep walking, because this lesson was never for you, it was for them. God taught you compassion. Now He's teaching them justice. And when the last sound of breaking glass fades into silence, when that mirrored room falls dark, you'll know everything has been made right. No one escapes the light. No one hides their shadow forever. Everything returns to where it belongs. The reflection they can't escape is the truth they refuse to face. And you, chosen one, you've been proven right, not by words, but by peace. When the light passes through the final mirror, it no longer reflects the darkness. It reflects you steady, radiant, and free. You were never the problem, you were the protected. A soft golden light filters through the clouds, weaving through the leaves, falling like threads of heaven, stitching back what was once torn apart. Music rises, gentle, warm, like the heartbeat of peace. No more hissing, no more broken glass, no more smoke or shadow, only light. The narrator's voice lowers, calm, tender, loving, as if a hand rests gently on your shoulder. Every tear was counted, every wound was seen. You are chosen. Every tear you cried, not one was forgotten. Every wound you carried, not one went unseen. God was there in every moment you thought you were alone. He stood beside you when others turned away. He caught you the moment you thought you'd fall. And now you understand, you were never the problem. You were chosen to witness His power. Every attack, every lie, every betrayal was proof of your anointing. Every attack was proof of your anointing. Every betrayal was your preparation. Nothing that happened was meant to destroy you. It was shaping you. No wound was wasted. No loneliness was meaningless. God never lets the pain of the chosen be in vain. He uses it to build strength. He uses it to deepen faith. He uses it to make you the living proof of his light. Chosen one, you didn't fall, you were being lifted. You didn't fall, you were being lifted. Remember those nights you didn't understand, those prayers whispered through tears, the moments you asked, "Why, God?" Now you have your answer. Without those dark nights, you would never have seen this light. You walked through the storm not to prove your strength, but to reveal his. Now your breath feels lighter. The burden is gone. The echoes of their words no longer shake you, because you know heaven was on your side all along. No more fear, no more questions. Only confirmation you were never the problem, you were the protected, because whoever God protects cannot be defeated. Father God, I place my hand upon the one hearing these words. You know every wound, every sigh, every tear. Pour over them your unshakable peace. Heal the deepest part of their soul. Open the doors that people have closed. Turn every pain into proof of your miracle. Let them know they are chosen, they are loved, they are protected. You are not walking alone. Heaven walks beside you. The light is over your life now. The light around you grows brighter, wrapping you in warmth, as if heaven itself opens its arms. No fear can cling to you anymore. Only peace, deep, real, divine. You are chosen, you are covered, and your victory is sealed. If this message touched your heart, type 7 or Amen in the comments as a sign that you've heard, understood, and been called. Share this message with another chosen one who needs to hear it tonight. And if you feel the presence of God through these words, click subscribe and stay connected. The next message may be the sign you've been waiting for. Rest now, chosen one. You've made it through the storm. The light has found you.